Hi Stitchy friends, welcome back to my Flosstube channel. My name is Phoebe and today I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I've been stitching on in the last couple weeks since my last episode. I usually do a new update video about every 2 weeks. I usually have it for you available on Mondays, I think. So anyway, hi, just got home from church. This is my quiet time to film before my son Lincoln gets home from his dad's house and everything gets a little bit louder and crazier around here. So yes, welcome. I hope that you enjoy hanging out with me. Grab your stitching and we're gonna chat through some pretty projects today. So I do have one finish for you. It's from my 2023 Mania, so I'm doing pretty good at knocking those down. And then I have one new start, and then I have a number of whips to share with you. I don't have any haul or acquisitions today, but I do have a little bit of book chat at the very end, so I'll definitely let you know before we get there, so you can head on out if you're only interested in the stitching today, which is totally understandable. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with my finish. So my finish is this guy here, the Light Upon the Lawn. I'm doing the Blackbird Designs Loose Feather series. So this is number 2. So I've previously finished number 1. And I've finished that one into a pillow. And so here is number 2, which means that probably for my 2024 Mania, I will probably fill the spot that this one was in with the 3rd design. So, yeah, this was just as fun to stitch as the first one. The first one I stitched on linen. This one I did on 32 count even weave. The first one was on 32 count linen, and I stitched that one, I believe I did that one with 2 strands over 2, and this one I think I did just 1. I sometimes trick myself into being like, no, that's not just 1 strand, that's 2, and then I like almost try to pull away the strands, but no, this is just 1. So this was really fun. Especially, I think my favorite part is down here. When I was stitching it, it was kind of tedious, but it just looks really, really pretty now that it's done. There's French knots down there, and there's, you know, back stitching and things, but it's really nice. It primarily uses most of the same flosses as the first one. I think it didn't pull in quite all of them, but yeah, I think it's cute. I personalized it with my initial there, and I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I did stitch it with the call for flosses. This is 32 count even weave, and so yeah, I'm gonna make it into a pillow just like its sister, and that's my finish. So the next project I'm going to share with you is my new start. So I started this on the 21st of February because I told you guys in my last video, but I was going to be starting a project for my older daughter on her birthday, since I already have a project for my younger daughter on her birthday. So I'm going to stitch on this on the 21st of every month until it is done, and think about the blessing she is in my life each time I pull this out the stitch. So this is Fraktur Flowers from Barrick. So I had her look through my patterns and pick one that she liked, and she was like, Mom, why do so many of these patterns have alphabets on them? So I tried to explain to her the aesthetic of a sampler project, but so she wanted to pick something that was not like that, and I really enjoyed this really cool border that this is going to have going across like this. And I've started getting into the flower. So this uses about like half of the called for MPI silks. Half of them I already had on hand from being in the Fat Quarter Shop MPI silk group, and then half of them I did not have. So the reds are all called for. 3 of the 4 greens are called for, and then the darkest one I didn't have, so I put in here English Ivy from Classic Colorworks if you're interested. And then these 2 I haven't used yet. I'm gonna decide once I put them in if I like them enough, because it calls for some kind of like light teals. And so these are 2 threadworks that you don't see in the design yet, so I won't know yet if I wanna use them. And then I didn't have either of the golds, and so they wanted a very warm gold and then a little bit lighter gold, so I chose Nutmeg from Gentle Arts and Silken Colors burnished gold that I had left over from something. And then instead of using MPI black, I'm using Blackbird from Classic Colorworks. So that's my stash dive. to work on this. This is a piece of 40 count that I just over dyed. It looks like this. It's a really nice piece on the browner side. I thought it would go really nicely with this design. So this is 1 strand over 2 on 40 count using half and half silk and half fancy floss cotton. So yeah, I love it. So this next one's kind of like a finish because it's a finish for now. I am a member of Teresa Kogut's Patreon as a the highest tier, I guess. You are getting the 2-year-long sal as part of your membership. And so on January 15th, we got like to here. And then on February 15th, we got this. And so then on the 15th and the 16th, I just worked on this and got this all done. There is gonna be some writing over here, like there is here. It says, I believe, Willow Antiques. And she changed the pattern. She changed it. This is slightly different, and this is slightly different. And I just decided to keep it like the original. So I didn't want to do any pulling out of anything. So yeah, this is on 32 count even weave that I over dyed this color here, and I'm using just a total stash dive for floss because I like to liven up the Kogut colors. So I'm just going to show you them again like I did last time, but there's a lot because it's for a whole year-long sal, so I won't go through all of them. But if you would like my conversion, if you will, you can definitely just drop me a note or email me. Oh, I just noticed this week's Dye Work Butterscotch has two labels. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to liven up your, it's called the Hometown Sal. If you want to liven it up a little bit, let me know and I can get you these flosses that I'm using. We still have yet to pull in those beautiful greens and a few more of the other colors, but I'm really, really enjoying how it's going. So this is stitched on 32 count, so it's gonna be a little bit bigger, and I'm using 1 strand over 2, as is always my preference anymore. And I think that's it. So here's how this sal looks after the first two parts has come out. So let's go ahead and take a look at my 2 strands a day stitching. So basically I pull this out every day and I do 2 strands. So since this is 1 strand stitching, basically I just do 2 full lengths of whatever color that day and then I put it aside for the day. So this is the Happy Hearts sampler from Birds of a Feather, which I am borrowing the pattern from a friend. And I need to hold it a little bit more back this time because I've gotten down a little farther. I really love this flower down here. I have a needle in there, so pardon that, but I really love that flower. It's so cool. It's pulling in a lot of colors. So this project is just really, really fun to stitch on. I am using my own conversion of the flosses again on this, so if you would like to know what they are, you can definitely, again, as with anything that you hear me say it's my own conversion, just let me know if you want them. One of the main changes is that anything that was in black is stitched in Classic Colorworks Caterpillar, but then, you know, pretty much nothing else is called for except for, I think, Weeks Pebble is one that's called for. So I'm just having so much fun with it. This big flower here is so cool. So I've pulled in my family names in these initials. So our last name is Moon. And then I've got my sons are here, Salem and Lincoln. My daughter Honor and Joy down here. And then this is for me and my husband. I'm Phoebe and he's Tim. So it's coming along. Basically I've stitched on this every day in January and February so far. And I'm just gonna keep going till it's finished. So really, really loving it. I believe this is a 32 count fabric that I over dyed. It's got some kind of coloration down there, but I don't think it's gonna go down that much farther. I picked the side that had less drastic modeling on it. And so, yeah, just some blue grays that I put on here and a beiged up the base color. And then I'm doing 1 strand over 2 on, I think this is a 32 count. So you will see this again and you'll keep seeing it till it's finished. And I just love it. Just love, love, love. So on the 13th of this last month, I pulled out a Halloween pattern for some dark stitching. So this is the Primitive Hare Halloween This Way, and I'm using the fabric designed for it. It's a 32 count called Big Spell, and I love it. I'm so excited for how it's gonna look. So this month, I basically put in the whole outline of this top signpost, and I put in the middle word there, Salem, which actually happens to be my son's name. And then I popped in some of this stuff here, and then on top of the sign. And so basically I wanted to fill this all out so then I could just go in and do the fill-in stitching the next time I pull this out, and it would be really fast and easy and I wouldn't really have to think about it. So I think I might be about halfway done with this project. I love the colors on this top one. It's the green and the brown. It's so pretty. So yeah, I think I'm about halfway done. So far it says Salem, Sleepy Hollow, Flying School, and Sanderson House. So yeah, I have been working on this for quite a while. It's been on my Mania 2022 and 2023. It will also be on 2024 because I don't get this out consistently. Just usually on a dark stitching day or if I happen to roll it on my random rolls. This is 2 strands over 2 on the 30 count. And that's probably another reason why I don't stitch on it as much, because it just eats up the fancy floss. And I'm using all the called for flosses. So there is Primitive Hare Halloween This Way. So I think last video, the first project that was my random draw was the Blackbird that I ended up finishing. And then this was the second one. So this is Golden Delicious from the Artsy Housewife. And this is just so beautiful. I love her work so much, and this is likely my favorite design that she's done. It just has this really cool border. So these almost like citrus slices is what they look like to me, are going all the way down here, and then they're gonna go all the way across. And she changes up the color so much so that graphically the pattern is the same, but the colors are different. And then the top border is really cool too. It goes across with that yellow and the green, and then the little flowers in between, and then it changes the color here, but it's gonna be the same. And then the inside is only gonna be in here, so I just have this big house to do left. So I think I did get quite a bit done this time. I'm stitching this on a piece of purple fabric inspired by the darker version of this that she has up on her Instagram. It's a more purpley fabric on there. This is kind of like a rosy mauve purple. This is just something that I dyed. It's a 40 count, and I'm also using my own stash pole for this one. So I can show those again if you're interested in doing these with colors with a little bit more variegation on some of these, especially threadworks. I love pulling in a good threadworks because it gives a lot of variegation. For example, I need to get another skein of this, but this one with all these autumnal colors I pulled in, and it's used a lot in the pattern, and especially for the border. So this is 01076, sorry. So that one is bringing a lot of fun color in here, but then here's the rest of the colors, and I actually have a couple silks. There's a couple silks in here that I overdyed. A dark chocolatey brown. So then I have crab cakes in here, and I have, I think corn husk is called for. So basically I pulled in what I had, but then if I didn't have it, then I either dyed something for it or I used something from stash. So this is 40 count, 1/2, Golden Delicious from the Artsy Housewife. and I really, really love this pattern. Just 2 more whips. So I decided to get out this whip after watching SarahsStitchySpot's most recent video, because I know that she and Bridget and Katie the Novel Stitcher are stitching on this, and whenever they show it, I'm just like, oh yeah, it's just so awesome. So this is Blackbird Designs Oh Joyous Day, and it just has some of the coolest purposeful patterning here in these plants, like this pear. So I am stitching this on, it's either 28 or 32 count even weave that I over dyed to give this rosy peach coloration. And so I am using 2 strands of floss over 2 on this one. So it is looking, to my eye, it's like, whoa, that's way too plump. But, you know, it is what it is. You can probably tell that I have done my own floss conversion on this again. Like this flower here, that is all Forbidden Fiber Co. Leo. So I have a number of Forbidden Fiber Co. in here, and just a whole mishmash like I like to do. A couple of things that I've over dyed as well. And I think that I'm close to, I think there's just one more flower that has to go here, and then that's as wide as it'll be, like about there, right? So I'm making some good progress. I'm just thinking that's probably going to be the screen grab for the thumbnail. But yeah, I'm just really, really loving it. It's the same kind of thing, like just like how I was talking about with the Artsy Housewife. So we've got, this is all symmetrical in the design here, but then she plotted this for a different color. So it's not same, same, same. It's just like one odd one out there. And then these 2 birds are the same, but she changed the color. Same for the bottom of the leaves there. It's so cool. And then over here, they are the same. Just mixing it up, it makes for, I think, a really interesting, fun stitch. So 2 strands over 2. Yeah, I just looked at my bag. This is 28 count, so this is gonna be bigger. It's also like a really thick feeling casual linen. I said it was even weave, but this says it's a casual linen, which, so I think I just got this at Hobby Lobby. Just the ones in the little square packages. So yeah, there's a Joyous Day. This one hadn't come out in a while, and I love it. So, all right, last whip. Surprise! I got out my full coverage in the last 2 weeks. And yes, I know my threads are atrocious. I need a couple of those little things that Brenda, the Handwork Maniac, has that I think her daughter sells on an Etsy shop to hold all the parked threads. So, okay, I was hoping to have this whole diagonal finished by the time it came time for me to film, but I just didn't end up getting there in my time slot. So as you can see, I've been stitching diagonally, so I usually go down this way, and then the next time I'll go up this way, and then choop, 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 like that. So I'm just gonna finish up this last little bit here. This is Spring Montage from Paine Free Crafts, and I'm doing the full coverage version, as you can see. This is stitched on some 16 count Aida, just plain white, because every single spot will be stitched. And I love it. I love the blossoms. I love like the light, the light way you can see this checkering coming in, but it's like faded, and how it's just kind of like coming in darker towards the bottom. And then we've got this split here. And the flowers are very, very confetti heavy, but that's okay. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm using the Markup XP, I think is what it's called, app. I don't think I could do this without it, especially after being a monogamous dimensions kit stitcher for basically ever since I was 12. Those are so hard to stitch without an app to help you keep your place. I wasn't even ever highlighting my patterns. I don't know why I wasn't doing that, but that's only something I started doing recently. I'm petting my floss. I'm just trying to get it to lay straighter. So anyway, I really love using the app, and I don't really think about full coverage stitching all that much, which is why there's not a ton of progress in this year. I probably only got this out 2 other times this last year. But it is fun, like when you have the hankering for some full coverage stitching, it is fun to be able to get it out. But who knows if I'll ever finish this thing, because it's going to be absolutely huge. I have this rolled up on the bottom. So yeah, here are my DMC flosses. That's what I'm stitching with. And I'm doing 2 strands over 1 on this Ada. And I think that's it. It's really fun. If you have never tried full coverage stitching because it just seems overwhelming, the app will really help you. So the Markup XP is the one for that's for Apple devices, and just give it a try. It's kind of like doing a puzzle a little bit, but not a puzzle where you have to figure out where things go. Anyway, I enjoy it. So that's all the stitching. I'm going to talk a little bit about plans. So this next week, well, this week that we're in now, I'm heading out to Texas to my brother's wedding. So there probably won't be a massive amount of stitching this week, but my plan, I always stitch on something Christmassy on the 25th, which is today, the day that I'm filming this. So I will probably pull out something from my Mania plans that's Christmassy. And then there's no 31st, so there won't be any dark stitching. And we will have the 7th, I'll stitch on my birthday piece. On the 4th, I'll stitch on something patriotic. So since I finished Blackbird Design Salute to Abigail, which I was stitching on for like a long time on the 4th, maybe I'll do that Americana Sailboat by Artful Offerings. I'll pop it up here so you can see. Maybe I'll do that on the 4th each time. It's also in my Mania, I think. So we'll see. So I'll stitch on something patriotic on the 4th. Then the 7th will be birthday stitching, and then that will bring us till the next video. So other than that, I pick a couple random projects with you. The first one I'm going to pick from my Mania. So you guys see this every video. Here's all my Mania 2023 and a lot of 2022 that carried over. If it has a dot by it, it means I have finished it. So if I roll that, I will skip it. So I have this pretty random map, and I put in the parameters are 1 to 23. So it rolled Friendship Garden, which I've already finished, so I'm gonna roll again. Number 2, Halloween This Way. So we're gonna get that signpost out again in the next couple weeks and get a little bit more stitching on that. So we'll probably get that whole top fence post finished out. And then the other random draw that I do is using the app called Tiny Decisions. And I use this app for like the kids' chores and like different things that I give them random chores to do sometimes. I feel like it just makes it more fun. So I have all my whips in here. This is Mania and all the other whips. And if it's blacked out, that means I've already done it, because I have it non-repeating. So Art Deco Christmas Tree. Oh, that's fun. That's when I started at Christmas time. It was just an Etsy, maybe I'll do that today for my Christmas stitching today on the 25th. That's what I'll probably do. It was an Etsy design that I started at Christmas time. I put it up here. I thought it looked really cool. So you'll definitely see those 2 things before the next video, and or in the next video. I'll stitch on those. So then if we've talked about plans, then all that's left for me to chat about, since I don't have any hauls, I'm going to do a little book talk with you. So in my last video, I mentioned that I was going to read The Silent Patient. Well, I read it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. Basically, without too many spoilers, you're getting the viewpoint of a woman and a man, but mostly the man. He is a psychotherapist, and he's working with this woman who is in an institution instead of being in prison after she went to trial for murdering her husband. And she's an artist, but she won't talk. So don't really want to say anything more than that, but it was really good. It's a murder mystery and a little bit of a thriller, and I really liked it. So recommend. Thank you, Melissa, for that recommendation. Then I read I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which came at the end of somebody's like favorite books that they read last year kind of thing, in the end of 2023. That is written by Ian. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Anyway, that's a little bit of a shorter read. I think it was only like 6 hours, and I found it really, really interesting. So basically, you're just getting you're in the woman's, there's 2 people that are traveling in a car, and the woman is thinking of ending the relationship. So that's the premise of the title of the book. And they're on this road trip to go visit his family, and it's her first time meeting his family. And so you're getting like her stream of consciousness as she's thinking about what they're talking about, so then you're also getting their conversation. And things kind of get creepier and creepier as you get into the story. And I don't think that I've read a book recently where it's just all like one big dialogue. But you're also hearing what she's thinking in her head too about it. So it was very interesting. Like I said, a little creepy, kind of murder mystery-esque. So I recommend 4.5 out of 5. I really liked it. So I know it was a shorter book, but I didn't ever get like bored of it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is going a little slow, let me speed this up. But that never happened to me on this one. So then my friend and I started reading Words of Radiance. It finally came up for her on her library book hold, and we only have like 8 hours left of that to read. It's like a 55-hour book. So we have been speeding through that. It's a Brandon Sanderson book in the Stormlight Archive series, and it's so good. If you haven't read Brandon Sanderson, I highly recommend the Mistborn series, the Stormlight Archive. He has a new series that I want to read, Tress and the Emerald Sea, I think. Anyway, love Sanderson. He's funny, wonderful at world building. I've been reading like a bunch of other fantasy recommendations, and they just don't hold up. Sanderson's just my very fave. Him and Pierce Brown. So he wrote the Red Rising trilogy. I feel like I probably talk about those two series a lot on here. I think that's all of my book chat. That is pretty much gonna be it, I guess. We watched Oppenheimer recently, which was really good. We watched all but the series finale of True Detective Night Country. Really good, very atmospheric. Literally makes me never want to visit Alaska. Even though I do really like the snow and the cold, but the vibes in that, they did a great job with the whole atmosphere of that show. I think that's pretty much it. So, we started watching Peaky Blinders on Netflix. If you've watched that and you love it, let me know. I started watching it because it was recommended after we watched Oppenheimer. So far it's good. Okay, I think that's it. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had some fun hanging out with me. I will see you back in 2 weeks. Take care until then. See you later. Bye.